Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. LeBron James returning next season to the NBA for year what? 22? For what? What? What is the point? We're going to talk about this right here. This is how bad the NBA needs ratings, controversy, and all this bullcrap to sell a dying NBA. But first, let me talk about a couple things that's been going around. And look, I just got to call it what it is. We know TNT is pretty much letting go of inside the NBA with Shaq, Kenny, and Barkley. Now, let me say this. I'm not trying to be harsh, but these guys are supposed to be making millions and millions and millions of dollars working for TNT, right? That's what I heard. So when I hear stuff about Charles Barkley being upset, cussing out TNT, and all this stuff for not getting a contract bid against NBC, and we're supposed to be feeling sorry for these guys, not Shaq. Shaq is in his 50s, but Kenny and Barkley, I think these guys are like 60 and older with supposedly millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. Go enjoy your family. Go enjoy the rest of your life. And he's on, I forget what interview he was. He was doing an interview saying that they depend on this show. What? You're supposed to have all this money. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Don't believe. Well, I'm not trying to say don't believe. I don't believe none of these players make the money that we are told. It's fraudulent. You're trying to tell me a league that is dying in ratings and nobody is watching it, that these guys are making epic contracts, the biggest contracts of all time, and nobody's watching this garbage? I'm talking about the playoffs have been having the lowest ratings each year. Nobody's watching this. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm watching it a little bit, but how are these guys? It's like your job. Keep giving you all this money and the job isn't producing. It doesn't make any sense. So to me, I've already went over this stuff. I don't believe any of these guys make the kind of money that we've been told. I think it's all just entertainment and bull crap to charge fans all this money. You can't be making these. Let me say this. If you're not making all this money, how are you paying these players all this money? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. So to me, I'm from the old school, 80s and 90s basketball. So I'm looking at how the league is now and how it's played. Why don't you go back to the style it was played to get your fans back? I don't understand that. Is it that these guys won't be able to play that style? Because we've been told these are the greatest athletes. These are the best players of all times. To me, I think if you go back to playing 80s and 90s basketball style, you'll get fans back. And we'll talk about as far as LeBron James too. When he retires, I've heard so many comments you see all the time, not only in my on my channel, but you could just be watching a highlight reel of LeBron James, an NBA reel or something dealing with LeBron James, and so many people, thousands of people that I've seen so far, and I read their comments, they said they don't watch the NBA because of LeBron James. They said they left the NBA because of LeBron James. So why wouldn't the NBA want to rid themselves of this guy? And we'll talk about that in a minute. But to me, if you're going to keep this style of basketball, which isn't American basketball, and keep this style of basketball that hasn't existed until like lately, don't say Curry changed the game, because Curry didn't change the game into what we see now. It was Clay and Curry at the three-point line shooting a three. It wasn't the whole team shooting a three. This really didn't exist until about 2020. positionless basketball. Okay? So to me, I'm saying as far as Kenny, Barkley, and Shaq, this is far from their era of basketball. I know they're a good talent. They're good on TNT, everything like that. But I think they need to bring in new voices, new faces that at least played in the 2000s or the 2010s that understand this basketball a little bit better. Because I think what they're doing, people like Reggie Miller, they lie for this generation. Reggie Miller would be scoring like 30 points a game in this era. But he has to lie about what he sees on the court, especially LeBron James, just to promote this NBA. So I think, TNT going away. I don't know what's really going to happen. They talked about Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Shaq starting their own production company and still kind of like working third party for NBC, having a show. And I'm like, no, why? Why do we got to keep going with the same stuff? We need to bring in new faces. Nothing is ever going to stay the same. I'm sorry. You got to bring in new talent. Is this world just not talented enough for change? You see the music that they play on TNT, ESPN when it comes to basketball. They're playing this era of music, which is dead music to me. There's no harmony in the music. All the music is just tick, 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 tick. There's nothing to it. It's dead music. There's no harmony. Robot music. But I'm saying, bring in new people. These people have passed. How long do they want to work for the NBA? Chuck, Shaq, and Kenny Smith. Until what? They're 70 years old? I don't know. I don't understand. If I had these tens of millions of dollars that these guys supposedly have, I would be enjoying my life. So it's up to them. I really don't care. I said something about Dreamers Pro earlier, and I'm not trying to hate on the guy. I'm just trying to say, every time you look at this guy's channel, just about, he's doing clickbait. Every time ESPN says something, Fox Sports says something, Gilbert Arenas says something, he's always trying to bring a story. Now, does he bring good stories? Yes. But I'm just saying, it seems like this guy just lives in the studio. And I have like major respect for his channel. But man, everything that these people say, it's almost like he works for ESPN and Fox. He's reporting everything they say. And I'm so sick of hearing about LeBron being criticized by Stephen A. Smith and all these affiliates and associates with Fox Sports and ESPN about LeBron being a coach killer. And they're mad about Darvin Ham. Who cares? You said that one time. There's plenty of things to talk about with this guy. And we're going to talk about in a minute. This is all you got to say. Darvin Ham is gone. Darvin Ham is gone. So, like I said, I'm not trying to hate on Dreamers Pro, but man, I guess this is what he's got to do, man. I mean, because I'm a small channel. I'm not trying to say my channel is better than his, or his channel is sorry, but I'm not trying to feed like 4 or 5 people. I guess he's got to, do clickbait all day just to feed his people, I guess. I mean, more power to him. I guess he's getting paid, but man, it's starting to get old. It's starting to get old. I thought he could bring some more stuff to the table than what he's bringing. Here's what it is, man. So let's get into this LeBron James thing. Why is he coming back next season? Man, he won't play with his son. His son is garbage. His son is garbage. Let me remind you one more time. His son was garbage in college. His son wasn't a top guy in college. The NBA is destroying itself by talking about Bronny James for one single day. If LeBron is this great player, like they say he is, his son should be at least good. in this weak era of basketball. He should, at this point, he shouldn't even be a second round pick. What do he average, like 4, 7 points a game? Before his medical condition and after it. What are we talking about? Why is LeBron coming back to play next season? For what? Didn't Brady go out losing to the Rams because they forgot to defend a pass? His team? After he already threw a touchdown? If I'm not mistaken. Brady could have kept playing football on different teams. Even the Bucks could have kept playing. But the man moved on with his life. He has nowhere near the money that LeBron James supposedly has, over $1 billion. Why is this guy still wanting to run the court next season? And some idiots might say, oh man, you won't turn down $50 million either a year. That's not the point. Brady could have kept coming back and playing for 20, 30 million too. But time done passed. If you ain't playing for championships, and that's what ultimately Brady was playing for championships. Jordan wasn't playing for championships at 39, 40. Was he? Okay, if he was, I want LeBron next year to put himself on the worst team in the league with no all-star teammate, no Hall of Fame teammate, in the bottom of the barrel team. Charlotte. Tell him to go to Charlotte. Who's the bottom of the barrel? Go to the worst team. If LeBron is just playing for the love of the game, right? That's what Michael Jordan was doing, playing for the love of the game. And he donated his money. So you know he wasn't playing for money. He wasn't playing for championships. He went to the worst team. So what is LeBron still playing for? Doesn't the NBA want their fans back? Because many, I would guess millions of fans left the game because of this guy a long time ago. Because of what he did in the 2000s. And he's still putting up a ridiculous stat line. Plays no defense. Makes all NBA third team. All this stuff to make you feel like, oh, well, he can come back and play next year. He's still playing at a high level. Let me tell you this high level that this guy's playing at. He gets a gentleman's sweep this year by Joker, who has, we can't talk about Jamal Murray being an all-star teammate now because he hasn't been consistent to be an all-star. Not even in the playoffs. I think he ended up shooting like 30-something% for the entire playoffs. Maybe 41%. Here's some game winners, yes. So he gets beat by Joker, who plays zero defense. Zero defense. Hasn't even made an all-defensive team. Not even a second. And this is supposed to be an MVP center? And one of the greatest centers of all time? And never even made a defensive team? Wow. So he gets beat by Denver, who plays no defense. Denver ends up getting beat by a defensive team. Let me rewind it back. That Lakers team had AD, all NBA defensive, and an all-star. And LeBron was all NBA and an all-star. And both of them are top 75 players and got beat by a plumber Joker. A team that plays no defense. Got exposed by Minnesota, a defensive team. And we can clearly say if Minnesota gets beat by Luka and Kyrie, what are we talking about now? That exposes the Lakers even more. And don't let the Mavs win this series and then the Mavs get beat by the Celtics. That's going to expose the Lakers even more. So let's be serious. LeBron is only coming back to play to sell tickets, merch, popcorn, parking, food, all this stuff that's outrageous prices to go to a Lakers game. To see what? Not a winner, a circus act. A circus act. Because this guy, since he went to Miami and took his talents to South Beach, what do they call that? A circus, right? A circus takes their talents from city to city. And that's why Sports and Fitness Rant said this guy is becoming unrankable because he is basically a circus act now. He went to Cleveland. People think, oh, is he going to go to Cleveland? This guy is a circus act. He's not a genuine Hall of Famer. All-time great. He's not playing for the love of the game, for championships, for competition, to be competitive. He's putting on a circus act. And this is how weak the NBA is. They need storylines so bad that they want to keep this guy in the league. A guy that sits around and plays zero defense. And you see how the NBA's been, well, the playoffs have been since this guy been out. There's been no crying or flopping or none of this. Teams feeling like they've been cheated on calls and all this stuff. Only when the Lakers are playing. It's a whole bunch of drama. This guy doesn't conduct himself as one of the greats. And Anthony Edwards, bro, he better slow down. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. And I've been trying to tell people, they've been trying to tell Anthony Edwards, don't think they haven't, to act like Michael Jordan and talk trash. Bro, Michael Jordan really didn't even talk trash until, like, he won his first championship. He wasn't like that. He didn't try to show guys up. This guy was super professional after every post game. He wasn't talking trash like that. The first time I remember Michael Jordan talking trash was when somebody said, why don't you dunk on somebody your own size? And he came back and dunked on the dude. Now, maybe he was talking trash when? In practice? Yes. Because he was sick of his teammates being sissies. Trying to get them to be competitive. But on the floor, Michael Jordan didn't talk trash like that. And he damn sure didn't talk trash at 22 years old, 23, 24. No. So for them to start hyping Anthony Edwards up as this Michael Jordan trash talker, that's not accurate. And he damn sure didn't do it in post games. He had major respect for his opponents. Mike would do some unbelievable moves. And what would he do? He would just go back to the other end on defense. He wouldn't front run. He wouldn't scream. He wouldn't and all this stuff and talk trash. This is the later Michael Jordan in the 90s. And Anthony Edwards, if you look at him, he's always laughing when he tries to be serious because he ain't really about what he's trying to be like. He's not about it. Mike, for the most part, was a silent killer. Mike could have talked trash every time he did incredible moves. But he wasn't talking trash like that. So another season, this guy's coming back for what? LeBron James. For money. So the Lakers could make more money. The Lakers ain't about winning no more. Winning championships. This guy hasn't won since the bubble when everybody was sick. And if you count that, if you don't count that, my fault. If you leave out the bubble, this guy hasn't won since 2016. What is that, like 8 years? But every game is about this guy. Every time they play a game, undisputed. First take, talking about this guy, what he did, what he didn't do, what his team needs, what his team didn't do, who's responsible, who they gonna get in all season. They fired the coach for what? You're gonna get JJ Redick for what? Can we just get back to basketball? We've been watching these playoffs and we're watching basketball. When this guy plays, it's not basketball no more. When we watch these other teams, nobody's blaming each other. No coach is getting blamed. No players are getting blamed. How come we can't get back to basketball no more? This guy has nothing else to play for. Over $1 billion. What is he playing for? Other than his fans, who are delusional, nobody wants to see this guy play no more. Nobody likes this guy. Every year he plays, he loses more respect, or NBA fans lose more respect for this guy. We thought he had an okay career up until, 2018? And he keeps coming back trying to prove what, though? You keep losing. They keep trying to turn a loser into a winner. And it's been proven he's a loser. He's not a top 10 player of all time. All the top 10 players are winners in the finals. They didn't cry. They didn't flop. They didn't throw the coaches and teammates under the bus. They didn't travel all the time. They didn't make ridiculous statements at post game. They didn't have podcasts. Why does this guy have a podcast? I've already told you guys, it's not a real podcast. It's not a real podcast. It's a deep fake. For all the idiots who don't even know what a deep fake is, they're not there. It's fake. And for JJ Redick, if you even listen to him on these games, he don't even move me. All these people saying, oh, he's a great analyst. The guy don't even move me. He's better on his own podcast, not the LeBron podcast, not the Mind the Game. I'm talking about the podcast he used to have. He's better on that podcast than he is calling games. Yeah, he says a couple things, but it doesn't move me. It's not like a what's this guy's name? Fratello? A Bill Walton? Mark Jackson? They need to bring back Bill Walton. That was the dude. Bill Walton will give you the business. He's not going to be up there licking and sucking and... No, he about to tell you what you did wrong and what you need to be doing. Bill Walton was the truth. You need to get more guys like Bill Walton that was on NBC that's going to call it like it is. He would have ruined LeBron's career a long time ago. He didn't play around. He didn't give Michael Jordan the business back in the day. He didn't care. Coaches, and that's another thing is, these coaches today, they're not real coaches. I don't care who you are back in the days. You're going to get lit up for not doing something right. Or if you was doing something wrong on the court. These coaches will light you up even if you was Michael Jordan. They will get in your butt. They would embarrass you on the sideline. You don't see none of that today. And it's mostly because there's no bad shots. There's no defense. Everybody's running the same scheme. 4 guys at the three-point line shooting threes. The defense is awful. It's been better in the playoffs. But these coaches aren't real coaches. You can't scold these guys. You can't school these guys. Tell me what you think.